Have you ever wondered about the long, silent years of Jesus' life, the years between his youth and the moment he stepped into history as the most influential figure of all time? The Gospels give us glimpses of his childhood, a few words about his wisdom as a boy, and then, nothing. Nearly 2 decades vanish into obscurity. From the age of 12 to 30, the story of Jesus fades into silence as if history itself turned the page and forgot to write the next chapter. For generations, scholars have asked the same haunting question: where was he? A silence that echoes through time. Traditional accounts suggest a simple life: a carpenter in Nazareth, a quiet man in a small village. But this explanation has always felt incomplete. How could an ordinary craftsman suddenly emerge as a teacher whose words reshaped civilizations? How did he gain such vast knowledge, wisdom that resonated not only with Jewish tradition but with spiritual concepts found in the Far East? The depth of his teachings, compassion, inner transformation, unity beyond creed hints at an understanding that crosses borders and philosophies. It's as though he had walked far beyond Galilee long before he began to preach. The discovery in Iran in recent years, a remarkable find, has reignited this ancient question. Within the archives of Iran's National Library, a weathered manuscript catalogued simply as P2847 has surfaced from centuries of secrecy. Experts date it to the 1st century, within a generation of Christ himself. The text, written in a blend of Aramaic and Old Persian, offers something that no gospel, apocryphal or canonical, has ever provided: eyewitness accounts of a young traveler from the West, known among Persian sages as Isa, the son of light. A journey beyond borders. According to the document, this traveler appeared in ancient Persia at a time when the empire's spiritual centers were thriving: temples of fire, monasteries of meditation, and schools where priests and philosophers gathered to exchange knowledge. There, the manuscript claims, Isa studied under teachers of Zoroastrian wisdom, masters who spoke of the eternal battle between truth and falsehood, light and darkness. He journeyed along the old Silk Road, absorbing the languages and rituals of lands that stretched toward India and beyond. He learned from scholars who practiced deep reflection, compassion, and the art of inner awakening. In these sacred spaces, the man the West would call Jesus was said to have discovered a universal truth: that divinity resides not in temples, but within the human heart. The return of the teacher. When he finally returned westward, witnesses described him as profoundly transformed. Gone was the quiet youth from Nazareth. In his place stood a teacher whose words bridged nations. His parables were simple yet transcendent, speaking of mercy, forgiveness, and an invisible kingdom within. The Persian scroll records that Isa promised to share what he had learned: that love is not bound by culture or faith, and that enlightenment is the inheritance of all humanity. But such ideas were radical. They threatened established powers, both religious and political. So when his story was eventually recorded, this chapter, his journey through the East, may have been deliberately left out, buried under centuries of silence. Why it matters if this manuscript is authentic? An early linguistic analysis suggests it might be. It does not destroy faith. Rather, it deepens it. It suggests that the teachings of Jesus were not born in isolation but were the culmination of a global spiritual awakening. It connects the wisdom of the East and West, revealing that truth, like light, cannot be contained by borders or erased by time. The lost years no more. Perhaps the so-called lost years of Jesus were never lost at all, only hidden, waiting for a time when the world was ready to see them. And now, as fragments of parchment whisper across the centuries from a Persian library, they invite us to ask once more: who was the man behind the legend? Where did his wisdom come from? And what other truths still lie buried beneath the sands of history? Because sometimes, the greatest revelations are not written in the words we've preserved but in the silence we've ignored. If you love exploring historical mysteries and forgotten truths about faith and ancient history, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating discoveries.